In this video, let us look at some thermodynamic terminologies, concepts, and thermodynamic laws. Thermodynamics is a study of a system and how its properties are going to vary with the variation in a temperature. The system, when it is placed and if it is left undisturbed, its macroscopic state remains unchanged. It will change its macroscopic state only when some energy is provided. Externally, if it is disturbed by providing energy, it will go to different macroscopic state. So we say that it has moved from one state to another state. If you don't provide energy, infinitely it will remain in the same state. And when you provide some energy, it will go to another state from its initial state. During this, there are two possibilities of going from one state to another state. One is reversible way and another one in a irreversible way. And we say that it has gone from a one state to another state by a reversible process or irreversible process. Let us look at what is a reversible process and irreversible process. Reversible process, it takes place very slowly, and during a time interval of change from one state to another state, if you divide that interval into smaller intervals and look at every smaller intervals, the process happens in such a way that in a small interval, every interval, the system's macroscopic states are attained. Means if you have, if for this long system goes from a state 1 to state 2 in a time interval t, and now divide this into smaller intervals, and in this, from this time to this time, if we observe, then the microscopic and macroscopic both states are changing. Definitely there will be a continuous change in the microscopic state, but macroscopic state, it remains same as long as you don't provide a energy. Once you provide a energy, it will change from state 1 to state 2, and in between you consider a smaller intervals, and from here to here, if you observe in a smaller interval, when it goes from this to this another interval, here the system will not go to next state until all the macroscopic states are attained here, when they will become a fixed here, that is macroscopic states. Macroscopic states will attain some constant values in between also. They are not changing continuously and then they go to second state. Intermediary also, the macroscopic states are attaining their constant values. It means the system is going in between into equilibrium states. There are a multiple equilibrium states when it goes from this first equilibrium state to another equilibrium state. And the benefit of going into a reversible state is that if it goes from a one state to another state reversibly, we can bring back a system to this initial state through via same states, and it can attain back into its initial state. Therefore, the entire process of reversible process is consists of a sequence of equilibrium states, and it is called as a quasi-static equilibrium process. Why? Because in between, in the whole time interval, if you divide that interval into smaller, in a small intervals also, the system is going to into different equilibrium states. The macroscopic state is being changed, and in a smaller intervals also it is attaining some constant values, means it is going to some macroscopic state and then it will go to another macroscopic state. And these are a slow processes. The reversible processes are a slow processes. On the other hand, system can go to state 1 to state 2 by irreversible process also. There the system parameters are changing abruptly. Suddenly they'll change, and it is known as a non-equilibrium process. In a reversible change, the system remains throughout infinitesimally close to the thermodynamic equilibrium. It is at every smaller interval you take, there the equilibrium state is being attained. Such changes are always reversible processes, and the system can brought back to the original thermodynamic state. The equilibrium state, it is a state where the volume, pressure, temperature all are being at a constant values. Let us look at a thermodynamic laws. The zeroth law, it states that if two systems A and B are in thermal equilibrium with third equilibrium C, then A, B must also be in a thermal equilibrium. It means system A is in thermal equilibrium with the C and B is also in thermal equilibrium with the C. Then A and B must be in a thermal equilibrium. That is a zeroth law. And first law, it is about a conservation of energy. And here we come across a term called as a internal energy. What is a internal energy of a system? Internal energy, it is a energy content of the system. Energy content of the system, and it is sum of three forms of energies. First, kinetic energy, due to different motions of molecules or particles of a system which depend only on a temperature. And second one, potential energy, due to intermolecular forces acting between the particles of the system. And third one, the energy of electrons and nuclei. And internal energy, it is a some value. It cannot be zero. No system is having a zero internal energy. It means all our systems are associated with some amount of internal energy. We cannot make a internal energy zero. We can change the internal energy, but it cannot be made zero, and it is indicated as a capital U. And when you disturb a system, the internal energy of a system is going to vary. And if a amount delta Q is applied to a system, the change in the internal energy is given by delta Q is equal to du plus delta V. Whenever you supply a certain amount to the system's internal energy is going to change, and some amount of a given energy is utilized to do a work by a system. And here delta W, it is a work done by the system, and by convention work done by the system is taken positive, and work done on the system is taken to be a negative. Let us see a gas contained in a one cylinder having a piston, and this is a piston, and its cross-sectional area is A. The force acting on a piston is P into A, where P is a pressure, and here it is a average pressure is taken because a gas is taken inside a cylinder, and definitely it will have some pressure. The molecules or particles, they come and hit on the surface of a cylinder, and there is a pressure, and the force acting on the piston is equal to P into A, where A is a cross-sectional area of that piston. Now the work done by displacing the piston by a distance dx is equal to P into A into dx, and A into dx is equal to dV, that is change in the volume. This A into dx is equal to dV, change in the volume. Substituting this in the above equation, the heat supplied is equal to change in the internal energy of a system plus work done. Delta Q is equal to du plus P into dV, and this is a mathematical representation of a first law of thermodynamics. Now let us look at second law of thermodynamics. There are many definitions of second law of thermodynamics. Very a popular one is the heat cannot be transferred from a colder body to hotter body without doing any work. And second law came up with a lot of struggle because it involves the new concept associated with the system. More than concept, it is a new parameter. A new parameter is defined with the second law, and with the second law only, today all our refrigerators and air conditioned rooms are working. It says one cannot transfer a heat from colder body to hotter body. We know always heat travels from a higher to lower side. Water flows from upper to lower side, lower level. In order to bring it from a lower level to higher level, we have to do some work. In the same way, to transfer a heat from colder body to hotter body, one has to do a work. Let us look at mathematical representation of this second law of thermodynamics. From a first law, we have delta Q is equal to du plus P into dV. Dividing this equation by a T, we have got some terms here. dq by dt is equal to du by dt plus P by T into dV. And here Cv, that is a specific heat, is equal to du by dt. Specific heat, it is a amount of energy required to be supplied to 1 kg of a material to increase its temperature by 1 Kelvin. at a constant volume, that is CV. If we are looking at the energy to be supplied or amount of a heat to be supplied to a system uh, to rise its temperature by 1 Kelvin at a constant pressure, we have a CP, and most frequently we use a CV, and CV is equal to du by dt, and substituting that in the above equation, and from a equation of gas, we have P into V is equal to RT, where P is a pressure, V is a volume, R is a universal gas constant, and T is a temperature. Substituting all these in the above equation, we have this expression. And here one term dq by dt. This is a bit of new term at that time, and this is taken as a entropy. Entropy, that is a measure of disorderness in the system. Till second law, we did not have a concept of entropy, and this has become a very essential thing. And second law of thermodynamics states that when a system goes from a one state to another by absorbing a heat slowly, quasi-statistically at a constant temperature, its entropy increases. That is, when a system goes from a one state to another state by absorbing a energy or a heat, its entropy increases. And entropy of a system, it is always a additive quantity. Means if you have a one system with the entropy S1, and if you have another system with the entropy S2, if you mix both the systems, then the entropy of a whole system is going to be S1 plus S2. And when a system goes from a one state to another state, then the entropy changes. The change in the entropy, it is given by ds is equal to delta Q by T. And there is a third law of thermodynamics. It quantifies a entropy. Measuring a entropy, it is not so easy. Something we require a standard thing. Standardization is a criteria of measurement, and in a entropy it is not so easy to measure any entropies. Therefore the entropy, it is not having any intermediary thing. Just like if you see a foot or a meter is a certain distance, and we don't have such a kind of a thing in a entropy. And this much of entropy is this much of disorderness is like a one entropy measure. We don't have that kind of a thing. And third law of thermodynamics is about quantifying a entropy. The entropy S has a limiting value S naught as a temperature tends to 0. Actually, even at a 0 Kelvin, the system is associated with a certain amount of entropy, and that entropy is taken as a 0, and then we measure a entropy. Practically measuring a entropy, quantifying a entropy, it is not possible. We can just measure a change in the entropy. And third law tells about quantifying a entropy. It says that at a 0 Kelvin, whatever is entropy associated with the system, that is taken as a 0. Just go through the material and get thorough with these concepts. and let's continue in the next videos.